Just take a few seconds and we'll set that up.
Ready?
Yep.
Thanks again for joining us on the Weave Generation channel. Again, this is Scott and I'm Brian. And the Weave Generation is we're weaving the generational gap to further understand the roles that we play as a functional nation. And today we wanted to talk a little bit about the subject of talking to your parents about money and their final wishes and how important that is and what things to consider when you're dealing with that. This can be perhaps one of the most difficult things that you need to do as children or grandchildren of aging parents and grandparents. It can seem very difficult, but really keep in mind it's very important. Number one point is your parents or grandparents really want to know that you're very bought into this and you're very interested in involving them in this decision-making process, both the financial side and their final wishes. Interesting statistic in surveys done, Scott, shows that 9 out of 10 people, when they were asked whether when they die, would they prefer to do it at home? Yeah. A vast majority, a large majority, actually end up not being able to do that. Mm-hmm. And that's really, some of that comes from having these discussions and having these decisions being made. It's extremely important. So the vast majority want to die at home, but the reality is a lot of them don't because this preparation hasn't happened and these difficult conversations haven't happened yet. And number 3 point here, another point is it might really surprise you as the younger generation. We look at these elderly folks that are very interested in understanding. They want us to understand their final wishes, and really as this normal progression of inevitable events when we age. They see our family and their friends pass on. They're very aware of what's going on. They're very experienced with the fact that this is a natural progression of events, and it may surprise us that they're very interested in having these discussions and figuring out what their final plans are. What the process is going to be, what their wishes would be, and then how their finances will be taken care of. Some folks have said before, well, talking to my mom or dad, my grandparents about money, I feel like that's rude to talk about that.
Yeah, that discussion has to be made, irregardless. It may not be a real positive experience, or it could be positive. One thing you have to consider too is preservation of estate. I mean, is the family's mindset that we want to do some preservation, or is the estate just going to get spent on the seniors' care?
Yeah,
they have to know which way they're doing it, and you just go down that road, break it down.
But it's I think they're very interested in understanding that this legacy, this financial legacy that they're leaving, is very important to not only their children but their grandchildren, and they understand that if they're not going to be around, or when they're not going to be around, they want to see that their legacy is left, so their children, their grandchildren, have financial help, and they have maybe further education and things like that they can actually still be involved in even after they've passed. Remember, when you're talking about this, that opening this conversation with your parents or grandparents is probably going to be the most difficult part of this.
Absolutely.
Because once you get into it, it really starts flowing, and there's great interaction there. Just remember going into this, be totally there when you're talking with mom, dad, grandpa, and grandma about their finances and their final wishes. Be totally there. Put the cell phones down. Limit the distractions as much as you can, and be there. Involve them with with their wishes and these discussions, and in the end, you're gonna come up with very meaningful, long-lasting, preserved solutions, and that's very important.
Yeah, it's very, very important for any long-term relationships too, you know, your brothers and sisters. You know, a lot of feelings get hurt during this discussion, and let that not happen. So, again, this is Scott and Brian from the We Generation channel. We're always open to questions, and we'll try to give you the answers to it. You can reach us at 402-413-0221, or email us at weavegeneration@gmail.com. weavegeneration@gmail.com. Again, this is Scott and Brian from the Weave Generation.
See you soon. Oops, boy, I kind of was that.